Birds. I see you joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Getting things fired up over on our side. Opening Discord. Make sure we're all able to get on the stage this week. Oh, Ed, already with the salt, Ed777. We were having a team meeting talking about some cool stuff. Maybe we should share some stuff that we talked about. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, we got a team behind this, so sometimes we got to make a little extra time, make sure the team's taken care of. But yeah, welcome guys. Zach, Lazy Lumberjack, good to see you again. Pixel Mouse, you too. Crypto Yammy, welcome back. Cold Root, XWAR. Next 100 years. Longevity crypto. Interesting. Longevity. I'm into that too. I think a lot of people will be soon. Where it is, we'll see somebody apparently born today is supposed to live to 150, 200 years old, if you listen to what they're saying. Joan Azeka, welcome. MDoc, welcome. Thanks everybody for joining us. We got some cool stuff to talk about today. NFT drops. Hello, I see you in Discord there. We getting people on stage? Yeah, we got Musashi here. We got Mal.
Hey guys.
I see where's our mystery guest again? Welcome, Dubstep. Uh-oh. Are we gonna run into the same problem again that we had last week? Let's check. Let me check our Slack real
We'll
back.
see. I haven't seen anything. We'll see though.
I know. This will be interesting if we have to go through this again because yeah, we had some notes we want to share. Notes we wanted to share on cheaters. So Terra Mesa, welcome. Gladiator of the Blue Realm. That name is so long it barely fits on my screen in Twitter. Volcron, jump on stage, man. Ian. Ru Atanga, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. PV, hello. Harry Brown, welcome. Welcome everybody in Discord as well. We see you guys there. Not Leo says, hey fam, my fishing rod is ready.
People are so excited about all the new fishing stuff coming. I'm excited too.
That's fun. It's fun. One of the cool parts about making games is when you actually get to the part where you're able to, I don't want to call it flex, but you're able to say, think of an idea and get it into the game quickly. And I know Volcron's talked about that before in terms of TSG, but we're hitting our stride too with TSL. And that's really fun to see as a team. Ex Diablo is on stage.
Yay, finally.
Finally. All right. Well, let's go ahead and kick off. Welcome everybody to our AMA March 31st. We are getting dangerously close to be doing a year full of weekly AMAs. Thank you everybody for joining us. We got some great stuff to share. One of the things that we've been talking about forever, ever, is this idea that as a team, we're really careful on trying to make sure we walk the talk, right? We say what we're going to do and we do it. We're not always perfect on that. Most notably is that we've wanted to have Townstar Godot out actually last month even, but the team's working really hard on that. And I think from what everybody's been able to see in the play test already, some good quality work being done there. And that gets me excited because as we get closer and closer to launching that, I'm just excited for everybody and how fun it's going to be. So let's see what else. Any other top level things? I don't know, Michelle. Why don't we just jump into the agenda?
Let's do it. Let's see. So we've got a game update coming today for the live game for all of that new sushi content. We've got the salmon nigiri, I believe is how it's pronounced. I apologize if I pronounced it wrong. I do live in the USA. That's going live along with all of the ingredients for it, like the salmon and the fish chum and seaweed, there's seaweed farmers, there's aquaculturists, I believe is what the other fishermen are called. All kinds of new stuff. It's going to be super exciting. There's shrimp farms, little shrimps. That should be live sometime today. I don't have an exact time, but sometime within the next 8 or 10 hours is probably a good guess for anybody who's looking for an exact time. I realize that's very far from an exact time, but as soon as the QA team is done testing it all, it will be live. I can assure you that. The other things I think coming into today's update are probably some bug fixes for some of those new luxury storages that weren't getting priority properly, but those should also be fixed. And probably some meta changes for the research center, which I imagine Mal will want to talk about later, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. That's really all I've got, I think, for live game. We've also got that team competition this week. So if you are looking for a team, we've created a new channel in the Discord called Looking for a Group. You can head over there and see if there's anybody else who's looking for a group that might want to pair up with you. And then pick a team leader and fill out the form. You just need a 3-letter tag. And then we can put that on the leaderboard skins. If you haven't seen the leaderboard skins, there are some examples in the AMA feed channel and in the Townstar announcements channel in Discord if you want to see what those look like. I'm sure we can also repost them if you want. Some people are having trouble finding their user IDs. You can either sign up with your email or you could probably use your username that you have on the Gala website. So long as I can find out who you are. That's all that matters. And I think that's all I've got.
Well, that's cool. Are people liking the idea of that? I remember you saying that there's a lot of chatter going on.
Yeah, I think people are pretty excited about the team competition. What do you guys think out there in Discord? I don't see anybody typing.
Yeah, nobody's answering questions. Oh, well, we'll just keep track of questions as they pop up. Let's see. Ed77, Gala Music had bulk transfer to Jiri. Will Townstar have this as well? Yeah, I checked on that last week. Somebody raised that. And from what I know, I don't know exactly how they did it. I think it was manually. We're looking at getting a front end added to that so everybody can just handle that on their own. As we have more updates on that, I'll let everybody know. But it's a ticket with our platform group, and they have a lot of the work done already, obviously. So yeah, that's some good news. I know that's been a question for a lot of people and a concern about, I have so many NFTs, can I just do a bulk transfer, please? Help save on gas and help save on just, the hassle of transferring them all. So some good news on that front. Sapper, team competition is intriguing, but not sure why you would consider all 20 scores, but only reward the top 10. Interesting.
I can address that. I'm going to address that when I speak, but it's purely because the idea isn't you just stuff as many people in as you can, all your alts and 20 accounts, and everyone gets something. The idea is there is some sort of competition going on. As I've said, it's not set numbers, it's just a start. But of course, you want the top 10 people who are actually sort of going hard, not just any sort of join this team and get yourself a reward type of atmosphere. It's going to, we want some actual competition going on, and it'll just be reviewed as we go forward.
So I have some info to share. Mal has been talking a lot about these competitions, the guilds, and I think we spoke about how important it is with these leaderboards, and fundamentally being a competition game, it's important that we keep it clean. So I have some extra info there. We've been working on getting rid of some of the cheaters the same way, but a lot more quickly. So our idea is the upcoming competition, you shouldn't see them on the leaderboard for more than 12 hours after they've done something funny, right? So it's going to be dynamic. The leaderboards that you see are actually going to mean what they say. You're not going to see 1 gazillion trillion number on the top, right? So that's an update. And here's another cool thing that we're going to do for you all. You don't have to wait a month for rewards, right? We'll try and have that done within a couple of days, but that's what we're going to try. But we'll definitely ensure we have that like in a week's time, unlike previous times, right? So yeah, that's some good info I had to share.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure everybody caught that because maybe there's a delay in Discord. So basically, when we see people are cheating, the goal would be to dynamically quickly move them out of the leaderboards. Did I get that right?
My mic's playing funny. Okay, yes, Mark, then you did get that right.
Okay. So that's good news because I know sometimes they hang out longer. And then the other part you said is about rewards coming quickly.
Yeah, you don't have to wait a
What'd
lot
you
of
figure
time.
out? Yeah, what'd you figure out on that? There must be some magic because it's taken a long time before, but now you're coming in and telling. And Dubstep Rod said, "I'll believe it when I see it." Why should he not be skeptical? Willow
Yeah,
Martin
so
says, "I don't want quick rewards." Wait a minute. What is going on there? Anyways, share some of the thinking behind the magic there, ex Diablo.
yeah, I think a lot of things that we do in terms of looking for these cheaters, a lot of these algorithms. So we've been doing that independently, separately, behind the scenes. Now we're actually going to run that live when the competitions are running. So which means if there's a cheater who's caught on day one, well, there's a reset or disabling happening on day one instead of letting him or her participate the entire competition, going back and then figuring out, oh wait, this is actually a cheater, so he or she doesn't get a reward. So because most of the elimination happens during the competition, we have an upside in just finalizing the rewards, right? But yeah, we're still going to try and make sure it happens within a couple of days. But being the first time, we also want to be quite careful, not
Got it.
not do something uh, in hastiness.
Right. Some of the things that people have been asking about before, and I think uh don't want Ed 77 they're throwing the salt, man. Don't want a ledger of lies. Actually, so I mean, but it's point is some people are worried about removing real players. And how are we going to get around that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in fact, yesterday I had a small like feedback session as well, and forgot the name, but I did get some question on, hey, there was this competition in February. Um, why was I not given rewards? So there's always going to be a very small amount of intersection in whom we call is a cheater and who could have not cheated, and then a really small intersection on people who've cheated but still made their way through. But again, the big difference is the ones who are massively leveraging or exploiting our system are going to be out, right? And so that's something that I've done a lot earlier as well, where the obvious ones are totally out, and so we don't need to wait for the obvious ones to be out. Like I still remember the last competition, the first three ranks were just crazy numbers, right? It just like I don't like looking at the leaderboard when I see the first three ranks just having some random numbers. So I think just getting those obvious ones removed has been the highest priority. So those I don't think there's any reason to worry about because, like I said, it's really obvious. But whether we'll actually be able to remove every single person who had that 10% advantage by just doing one small thing in a different way, maybe not, but we'll keep getting better at it, and you'll see at the end of this competition.
Yeah, so let's watch and see what happens. I know there's a lot of people who are like, "Wait a minute, you're supposed to fix this last year with Ledger of Truth, and then rewards were coming quickly." And I actually that's part of the time I was actually here at the company, so I can speak to that. That period of time was like June and July, where we started the rewards happening much faster, and then something happened. Um, and I can't remember who just wrote this up there. Anyways, oh yeah, it was Dubstep, right? The man with a lot of history on the game. So what happened at that point is we were looking at the Ledger of Truth and all the work that it was going to take to maintain it and keep it going. And I made the call to say, you know what, this is just going to be a time sink for us that would be better served moving on to a new engine, better served re-architecting the game. And so then suddenly we're like, wait a minute, it's gonna, we split the team, the Townstar Live team, which was, I think at that point over 20 people, it's reduced down to 10 or less than 10. And then the quest started to get the Townstar Godot game up and going. And so it's been a long time, but we also have now Ex Diablo here with a history of beating out, working through really, really high cheat situations and high cheaters. So, I see uh, Dash, you're like, yeah, don't cheat, but if you want to, here's how to do it. Don't be obvious. That's no lessons to anybody who's out there and dealing with cheaters in the world. That always happens, right? So I'm really looking forward to this and making sure we're going to do the best we can, and then we're also going to get onto new engines. So yeah, we'll figure it out, and maybe we'll make some missteps. Maybe we won't be perfect, but the whole goal is to try to help you guys, right? If everybody's throwing salt and calling people morons, dudes, we're trying to help everybody out, right? So I have faith in our team. Maybe if there's maybe a little bit lack of faith, but we're gonna keep working on it. So we'll see.
Can I mention something before we move on
Sure.
from this topic? So I've had at this time over 10 years of experience in running competitions in different types of games. And I can assure you guys, even though you guys are fine with waiting for the rewards, if we want more people to come in and not leave because they're not getting the rewards in a month, something like that, this is something we need to work on. And there are people that are coming into the team with different experiences, as Sage said, and weeding out cheaters. I've done it a bunch of times. So yeah, it's important also for the future of the game of bringing people in and keeping them in, and that I'm sure that benefits you too.
Yeah, thanks, Ash, for clarifying that there. Didn't mean to make it seem like I was calling you out. I just talking about the general salt of some people to just kind of just spread salt. So thanks for clarifying that, Dash. So let's next step, Michelle. What's next on our agenda?
I think it's Volkran's turn to talk about Godot and how that all is going. I know we did a lot this month. We're at the end of the month now, so
Oh yeah. Is my mic okay?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
That's the
awesome.
community. Is his mic
Yeah.
okay? Can we
Was
hear
it a
him?
four? It was a four last Friday. I've changed nothing.
Is it 4 out of 10?
Yeah, I guess
If,
so.
if you guys need him to speak up, you're not hearing him clearly, just send a message in Discord. We'll see it.
All right.
Oh yeah, Chris Teeper. Yeah, I know. I'm learning more of the history as we go. Skepticism. Hey, I get it, man. I get it. We're gonna keep trying though. Go Volcron.
All right. Willow Martin, thank you. Oh, one odd gent. Yeah, I love Mal's story time too. So this week, we've had four go lives on the Godot port, which is four releases, which is pretty awesome. Our team, I guess I probably say this every week, but that's because it's awesome every week. Just the amount of awesomeness, I don't know how to say it, professionalism, high quality, all that good stuff. It's been a really good week in terms of very few bugs were caught, needed to be caught. Very few bugs went live. I only know of one, and then a bunch of changes went out for NFTs, auto trades, stuff like that. I'll go down my list in a minute. I was curious if anybody who is playing in the playtest that's gated by our allow list right now. I was curious if anybody has anything they've called out that they maybe haven't provided feedback about just yet. Dash Riprock. All right. Well, sorry about my cough. Still getting over allergies and COVID a bit. So, yeah, there was some auto trade. There was a fix that went in where the gas wasn't respecting the amount of the sell amount. So those of you who are playing, hopefully you'll notice that. There's a little bit of polish. I'm gonna leave that as a mystery. You tell me if you see it or not. And then six, maybe seven NFT fixes went in. Big Pantry and Ground Silo are in there now. There was a fix to the winery for the Miranda skin. It was not being applied to the rare winery, but now it is. Um, there was also Miranda's fabric plant skin was not working, and the UFO shows its exhaust when placed, which is weird. You know, in the UFO reports, we never see exhaust trails in real life, so. And Big Pantry and Drowned Silo are not in game. Like I just mentioned, that was in there as well. I'm reading over some of my notes. That was a duplicate line. Sorry. We have our Goose has some VFX when it's supercharged. Testing that out. And then competitions, work in progress, which is to say that we've got all these backend systems. You guys are going to really like how the new competitions go. We're really going to like how it goes from a data management perspective. And yeah, a lot of this support behind the scenes to support multiple competitions. That's right, Diablo. Um, yeah, to support being able to define these competitions and stuff without having to kick players out of the game, without asking you to reload your browser, stuff like that. So the system that we're building that allows us to just push new data out to the clients without having to restart those clients and stuff. As you can imagine, that's not a super easy lift, but it is really, really important to running the live game. Ton more progress on that. Really excited to see that going live because it's bringing together just a bunch of old and new ideas, a lot of hopes and dreams. So two of the things we added this week was competition data flowing into the client from the back end, and then kicking players out. And kick you out when the competition ends, right down to the second, to make those leaderboards and everything as fair as possible. Localization work, we put a lot of work into making sure people can read the game and prompts and all that, so a lot of localization went in. And then mobile fix, there was a pinch gesture fix as well. It was changing the position when you zoomed around. It doesn't do that anymore. And yes, I know mobile still needs a little bit of love on the UI, on the buttons and stuff. Let's see, we did some code cleanups as well. It's not all just features, right? There were some proximity effects, logic, and spacing fixes, and then a UI tweak where we moved the decoration store items into their own tab, which is fun. Hey, is anybody doing decoration art? Like drawing happy faces and stuff with the barrels, or sorry, with the wheat? Anything? The hay? Anybody? Let me know. Do your art. That's it for our Godot update.
That was
Okay,
awesome. Thank you.
and I was jumping for the mute button. Give me a minute. Let's move on. Maybe some questions, and I'm digging up the art to share out right now. So, Michelle, go ahead and jump on a couple of questions.
Yeah, the first question I have here from the question form says, what is the reason for Godot version of the game not being able to use NFTs on the ETH chain? I would think that it would be possible to earn daily rewards without moving to Geary.
Mm-hmm. I could take that one. Work in progress. Gala is not just Townstar, right? So we have a lot of people here doing a lot of things, and there's certain things that are moving around. We'll get there. Don't worry about it. It's important. I have ETH NFTs. I want to
Yeah.
play them. So yeah.
Yeah, when we launch the game, you'll be able to use your ETH NFTs, just won't earn, right? And people say, well, why is that? Why don't they just earn? Well, we made the decision. We have our own chain. We want to move everything onto that, do one set of work. So I don't want having to go back and forth to make sure that ETH versions work, and it's just pretty much easier on Jiri. So that was the call that we made. We've also talked about some of the really cool things that'll come with Jiri, like upgrading your NFTs and things that we couldn't do on ETH. And as I mentioned a little earlier, bulk swap is coming, right? So yeah, so that's hopefully that answers that. And here's Michelle, if we're ready, I'll go ahead and pop in the art there.
Go for it.
Okay, so let me make sure I don't copy over too much. So Gina Mobina and Duderino have been working on more concepts arts. And this week it's been a lot of environmental. They've got the art nailed down in terms of the style for buildings, and they've handed out to the outsource house in terms of what's going to be coming there. In terms of them starting to actually crank out 3D models that we can actually test in the game. So here's just some new environmental concepts. Tree, we're going to make them a little less square, but still kind of squarish. You see the ponds and the rocks and the wells. Still some tweaks on those, but those are the concepts. And then roads. Here's an interesting thing. A lot of people when they're placing, before we had the grid showing up there for precision placement, people are like, why can't I place this building so close to the road? It's an empty green spot there. And realize that visually, when we didn't have shoulders on roads, it looked like you could put your building there. And so we added some shoulders there to make sure that the road itself takes up more of the tiles that there. So that's the kind of work that's happening there. Theoretically, very, very soon we're gonna start seeing actually some models coming in. And what we'll do, I think we mentioned this before, rather than just kind of trick models, trick the new art into the game, we're gonna at least batch it up into some big bulks. And that'll actually come live, I believe, after we do the launch. We just want to make sure we don't disrupt the current TSG launch because the art looks great already with the new engine and the time of day stuff that's coming. So we'll just make sure we can get it all nice and tested in the game as we do that. Lazy Lumberjack, cube shape being kept. Yeah, there's a certain charm to the Town Star art, isn't there? And we're trying to maintain that as we switch over to the new version. Keep it feeling and looking the same, but upgrade it. Thanks. Thanks, Tantrum. Yeah, I just read the name on the list. It's the Marsh. One of the things on feedback on that is to get that what do we call that thing? That stock. We call them punks on the East Coast. That's the stock there to be a little bit smaller, a little bit more scale wise, right, for the rest of the world. And I got one more piece of art there to share. That'll just give a little bit more perspective on this. And that is, Gina often talks about how she creates a context for everything. Because when you look at these individual pieces of art, sometimes it's easy to just kind of get confused about the styling and the size of everything. And so she creates this nice little vignette where everything's showing up there. And you can see sometimes old versus new. And so that's one of the things we use to help set the scale and the size of everything. And that's it. That's what we have for all the art today. What
I
other
love that the
questions?
roads are a little bit bigger. They look really nice. They have shoulders now. And that's going to be
Yeah.
really helpful for people when placing things.
Yeah. I think they still need a couple of tweaks, but we're definitely getting there. And I don't know if you saw earlier, Bokran, I did share a UFO, or not really a UFO, but the Jetsons used to have exhausts on their UFOs. If you remember that old cartoon.
Oh,
There you go. All right. What's next? We have more questions, Michelle?
Yeah, I got another question. The
Let's
next
do it.
question says, what is the plan and timescale for Townstar nodes?
Whoa. Yeah, I think Fulcron mentioned this a little bit earlier. Timescale, not ready to talk about that. Current ideas that we have. And again, we're going to wait until we get Godot out the door and live and everything turned on before we shift our focus to this. But we're doing planning in the background. Ideas that we have using the nodes to do catch-up work, right? So we talked about catching up your towns. If you turn it off and you come back on after a period of time, there's work that has to catch up the simulation. So put that on there. Custom competitions. I think we might have mentioned that before. Also, the idea of using them as sort of rental portals and guild portals. And, there's the other one that somebody I think mentioned earlier that, we have announced as a company that we're going to do a test to see about turning nodes into NFTs. So, yeah, that's the news on the nodes. I'm looking at Lazy Lumberjack. I like the unit building ratio size in this picture. The current unit sizes in TSG are too small, in my humble opinion. Interesting. Unit sizes. Are you talking about people? people walking around? If so, I agree with you. I agree with you. They are very tiny looking. I keep mentioning the UFO. Is the UFO getting a buff? No, I just was talking about the UFO because Volcron mentioned UFOs not having exhaust trails. There's no secret milk clue there.
The only other question that was in the AMA forum that I was going to address quick was more just a statement. And someone asked something about the promotion of guilds in the chat. We do, as part of the Discord rules, we don't really allow guild promotion in chat. So if you are going to look for new team members, just use that new group that we added to the Townstar channel section, the looking for a group. Feel free to recruit in there. You can share your guild Discord link in there. I will be monitoring it very closely. So if I do see anything scammy or spammy, I will remove it. And I think that's really all I've got.
What's next then? Time for leaks? Maybe?
Yeah, I think it's Mal's time.
Oh, sit back, get a cup of coffee, go for it, Mal.
Well, I mean, they know most of the leaks, to be honest. So they've been quite lucky there. We posted them really early. When did we post them, Michelle? I don't know. At some point anyway in the week, so people could start doing some analysis anyway. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So, well, as soon as it went live in stage, I pointed out in the chat I was going to make a quick build. I was immediately told to share it, so I quickly put something together. No NFT, as I like to do. It's always very fun. Got it to around 120, I believe, with the second screenshot I shared. If anyone needs that picture, I'll be happy to share it. It has 20 tiles not being used. There's a whole edge and a bunch of nukes and whatever else that need deleting. So there's about 20 tiles free, and it's on about 120 sushi an hour. So there's a nice little jump start for people, so you can feel confident. But it's been fun. I've got to say, I was very excited, and I'm excited for everyone to play it. The whole seaweed and fish chum puzzle and making sure you've got everything to get the salmon right, and it's fun. It's really fun, and I want to see the numbers. So as I say, this 120, no NFT with lots of spaces spare, no research, and I'm currently, and that's no ocean, by the way. So I decided to do one with an ocean. And it's looking at about 180, 185 now, just with an ocean in there. And using those 20-odd tiles, by the way. So actually putting about an hour and a half's worth of time into this one. Managed to get it up to over 170 fairly easily. So I will expect much better rates from all of you. But there's at least a nice build you can modify if you want to just sort of start early and sort of tweak it from there. There's no research on any of them, so I'm curious myself. I'll be testing over the weekend, so I'll be joining you all in the chat when I'm free. Obviously, check out some rates. I am really excited to see what everyone's getting. In terms of what I was thinking strategy, I've seen people, there's no cash rush. No cash boost. So I know people are a bit like, what should I do? The way I've seen it is mostly you're going to have to make ice blocks before you can start making, any sort of fish. I would rush straight away because it's now in the water facility. I'll explain that now. The ice blocks are in the water facility. They're just on a 600-second timer. So it takes 10 minutes, but a water facility is very cheap. So you can build a bunch of them, 3 wizard workshops, and then you can get those producing ice blocks. And what I would do is I would get however many you need. It's 5 per seafood warehouse. I only have, I think, 2 or 3. I have 2 in this one now that's doing about 170, 175. It was sitting at 180 for a while. So that only had 2 in. So you don't need more than, say, 15, 20 ice blocks for most people. The actual sushi cost itself, minus the 4.5 million for the free wizard workshops, is around 3.5 million itself in cash cost. So it's fairly cheap to set a small sushi build up. So what you probably want to do is, as soon as you've got your ice blocks, is just try and use whatever you're doing with your cash rush from selling the towers, go straight in to trying to make sushi. Because sushi sells for 85,000 each. So it's 850k for 10 sushi. So once you're making sushi, you can start pulling some nice cash in and get everything else built. So I would try and get a very small sushi setup. as quick as you can, as soon as you've made ice blocks, because you will need the ice blocks to start doing your chum and your shrimp and your salmon and all these things. So there's what I would do plan-wise. Shrimp go for 18k for 10. So, you know, they're a bit like eggs in a way. They only need 2 seaweed, a little bit more pricey to set up than a normal egg rush, but kind of like the eggs of the fishing content anyway. But again, you know, not as powerful. But again, it's an option if you want to sort of, well, no, you've still got to do your seafood warehouse, but you can start sort of selling the shrimp as they're building up as you go towards your sushi. So there's salmon as well, of course, which is going to be 19,000 each, which will be 190k for 10. So you've got some options as you're rushing to get to sushi. So just make note of those. I would get your ice blocks and I would just go straight for sushi. This competition, I'm obviously extra excited because of the guild slash team. We're calling it team. Team makes more sense. It's not, you know, it's more about teams than it is particularly, you know, a die-hard guild sort of mentality. And I believe one odd agent known as Todd should be able to share a nice sample now of the skin. We're going to do it so it's themed as a sort of gold, silver, bronze, but within sushi. It's going to be nice. You'll see. I don't want to spoil it. I'll let him post it. It's not showing up, so there might be some delay for him to hear to share it. So I'll just wait. I can see him now typing. So he's made a wonderful piece that he's going to sample now. So this is very close to what you'll be getting. I think this is second place, he told me. Yeah, there it is. So it's going to be, of course, sushi themed. For the sushi meta, I think it looks absolutely stunning. A very nice addition to have. So I'm glad that's been leaked. And I will explain, just because I've seen some people slightly confused when mentioning team. Like, do you need a team for this next competition? It's the normal competition, still solo. Everyone's doing their own solo town. Nothing's changed on that fact. It's just after the fact, those who are registered to a team, their points are all added together of the 20 maximum registered members. So if you're a solo player or you don't want to go for a team or you don't have a team, you don't have to worry. It's just if you want to take part in the additional event, that is for people in teams. So it's an additional event. It's at the same time as the normal competition. It's all at the same competition. There's no go anywhere else different. You don't have to do anything different anyway. If you're solo and not interested in teams and stuff, nothing changes for you. And I think most teams have established now about the whole registration process and that they've got to do that if they want to be involved. I see Dubstep says they think it's required. Yeah, some people got a bit confused. It's just a normal solo competition, and that is an additional one. So you can see it as 2 competitions at once. And if you're not interested in team, just don't even think about it. Just pretend it's not even happening because nothing changes for you in the slightest. Normal competition, normal solo, you're all on your own. The people on the leaderboards don't have people giving them goods or anything. They're not working as a team in that sense. It's just a solo competition with a team one additionally. Hope that makes it clear. I'm sure anyone not listening to the AMA or doesn't listen or hasn't read the announcement or whatever else is still going to need it explaining, but if anyone didn't understand, there it is. So back to the content. I was hanging off the edge of my seat, I'll be honest. It's all about the seaweed. You just need so much seaweed, and it's been really fun. So I've been super excited trying to get those numbers up. It turned out I needed more seaweed farmers. It's just, honestly, I feel like I had so many, but you need more. It's wonderful. It's 5 seaweed per chum, and most of you will need 2 chum per salmon if you go for the land edge. So you can do the maths there. You know, sort of, what is it, like 1,600 seaweed an hour if you want to do sort of 160 on the sushi. So it's just been fun. And of course, getting used to the different worker speeds. I've seen people asking. Yes, you'll see soon enough. And I'm sure you'll want the research costs. I haven't done any research yet, but I am excited to see how much more or less I need, see if it blows the whole build up. But let's talk about the research. So they're much cheaper this time in this, from what we normally do. So we're gonna have the farm tractor buff. It's gonna be 2.5 million. It's gonna be 100 rice husk, which is from the crop directly, and then 50 white rice. Now, white rice is made by using 2 rice husk and an energy. So that'll be the farm tractor, 25%. I don't have a lot in my build, so maybe some people want to skip that one. Maybe that's a free one. Maybe you're going hard on the rice because it's your funnel low. Let's see. Then there is the fisherman unit. He is also 2.5, and we'll take 100 seaweed and 50 shrimp. Of course, you need 2 seaweed per shrimp. As a note. The next and third 25% is not a unit like we would normally do. It'd normally be 3 units, and then you'd have the big buff. This one has now just been turned into a 25% global. So it does all of the units except for the 2 that you could get the buffs for. So it's going to be called the everyone else buff. And I thought that was hilarious. The engineer put that one in himself. Because as people seen with the searching dimensions with the portal, he has a sense of humour. And it's wonderful. So the everyone else buff will be for everyone else, other than the farm tractor and the fisherman. And then we'll go on to the global buff. So that will then be 75% farm tractor and 75% fisherman. But then 25% on the other units. So it'll be 25% that stacks with the everyone else buff, giving you 50% global unit speed for all others, just not the farm tractor and the fisherman. They will both be on 100% if you've got them all, or 75% if only the big buff. The big buff will cost, so it's 5 million for the everyone else buff. I forgot to say that. So it's 5 million cash for the everyone else buff, and that'll be 100 brine and 50 salmon. And then for the big global buff, that'll be 15 million, 100 fish chum, and 50 salmon sushi, or I can't pronounce it. I'm English, as Michelle used a disclaimer. She was from America. I'm just going to use that I'm English and I cannot say that. So it's salmon sushi, 50 salmon sushi, 100 fish chum, 15 million, big boost, all yours if you want it. And that's that. The actual specs of unit speeds and how much shade everything gives, that'll come out in a post because I'd just be speaking all week at this point. It's a lot of sort of intricate details. What I will say is the units are not super quick units. So they do need a couple extras. They are also hard-working units. So hard-working units often like to be paid well, especially when they've got skills. So expect that. But I do want to say something really cool. There's a fishing tab. We've never added a new tab when we added content in. And I thought, could we just have a fishing tab? So it's all in there, nice and easy to find. Now we have a fishing tab where it's all nice and easy to find. But I will make one note that rice fields remain in the farming section. But everything else you'll find in a fishing tab. So that should make life much easier when you just want to know where it all is, what it all is, and where to find it. You can just click fishing tab in the store. And that, I hope, makes everyone's life much easier, especially because it's new and you've got to absorb it all and trying to scroll around and which tabs. And it can get a little bit messy. But just a reminder, rice remains in the crops and everything else is in the fishing tab. That might change after, say, a month or so, sort of just like the mixing tents and stuff, because not everything's directly like the restaurants and stuff. And the mix and 10 are directly everything going to be related to fishing because, of course, there's the restaurant line, as we know, hinted. So, yeah, but just as a note, for now, it's in a fishing tab, so it's nice and easy to find, so you can not have to worry too much bouncing around tabs, because I know how that can be a little bit annoying finding, because units get shuffled around and everything where you knew it was on your screen size isn't there anymore. And So hopefully that eases there. I'm not sure if there's any other leaks that I haven't shared, so I'll go and read Discord. Didn't miss anything. A favorites tab, yes, that would be absolutely amazing. Especially if you could just tag per meta. Is there any other questions? Okay, don't see any other questions. So the sale, the common sale on Monday, it was already posted in the announcements as a sort of small note so people were aware that there was a lower rarity coming of the natural energy plant. We have the Natural Energy Centre. I don't know what it is. I enjoy making sure that we use a particular spelling for that word. Anyway, this is the slower version. This is a smaller version, but it is not to be underestimated. It doesn't cast shade, doesn't take shade, doesn't give deity, it isn't affected by deity, doesn't have a road, gives an energy every 60 seconds. In this case, it will require the worker to collect it and drop it off in the storehouse, in the warehouse, sorry. So therefore, you've got essentially a turbine that will always be green and can be placed much more efficiently within builds, next to storages, wherever you need it, basically, which is going to be very useful because it's getting some energy over to those fishing platforms or those wild net fishing is going to be something you might be doing. Depends how you play, but they don't like dirty. So you want to keep dirty away, which is often something you use your power plants for when you're trying to be cheap, or you don't want to have to go through the process of buying multiple nuclear power plants for 10 million each and make the steel for them and then deal with the 3,000 a wage. It just gets nukes just become a little bit of a pain, especially when maybe things are a bit pricey and you're trying to get everything planned and focus on that. So very useful if you just need some energy quickly going places. And it's the same for the previous legendary one. And as a reminder, there are still the wizard workshops in the store, and they give 2 passive cold when placed, and you can use those with the water facility if you don't have the master wizard or don't wish to pay $3 million for a master wizard to use for about 60 seconds. So there's some nice options there. So just a reminder on that one as well. If there's any questions, please let me know in the chat. I will be sharing some rates with everyone. I'm excited to put some research in and see what happens. The ocean has definitely helped a lot. But no NFT, no ocean, you're looking at least 130, 140. And then everyone else, I want to see over 200s. I want to see the boundaries pushed. And I'll be excited to see those rates. Pre-buff and after buff. So we should definitely see some over 200s with the buffs anyway. I don't think there was anything else I was supposed to leak. And I want to go and read everyone's reaction to Dan's amazing sushi. Sorry, I'm trying to read chat while speaking and I shouldn't do that. Okay, so I'm going to stop speaking now so I can just go and read the chat. Thanks for coming, everyone. If there's any questions, let me know. We're going to post the sort of unit speeds, shades, all the things that people want to know in a post, so it's just easier so people can get everything updated and stuff like that. But I hope everyone likes the leaderboard skin. Todd's going to get the rest of those made and posted at some point, probably next week. We'll give him some time to work some magic. But I hope everyone likes those. And I want to try and keep those themes for the metas. If we're doing particular metas, then we can, kind of keep them nicely themed. So I'll stop speaking now, and I appreciate everyone for listening.
Hey, so questions. That sounds really awesome. There's a lot of people sharing. Anybody have any questions for Mal on all that?
I've seen someone mention about the fancy barn. The cow's not on the treadmill yet. Yes, I am in the process of trying to get that sorted. That actually turned out to be a very unusual thing. It was the way the animations are made, and therefore there had to be actual. In normal cases, they just sort of put in the right places, like idle craft and whatever else, as people can imagine. It's very like sort of, you just put the animation where it's supposed to go and whatever else for each stage. But this one was sort of like an additional one, which even though it was all in the right places, it was. I'm not even trying to attempt to explain what the amazing engineer was telling me, but it was actually turned out to be a very like. It wasn't as straightforward. So because we had to get all this fishing content done, and we didn't want to sort of just pile too much on. Um, yeah, so that is coming, just so you know. But that actually turned out to be wildly tricky for such a simple thing that no one predicted. And like it's odd how it actually is happening, and I can't explain it. But we will fix it because I want the cow on the treadmill as it should be. So, any other questions? Sorry, I'll go and read the chat again.
Will sushi be meta for a second April comp also? It's from Smoogie.
Well, it won't be this exact sushi. There is plenty of crafts that relate. There's other fish, other types of sushi boats. So just get ready for some exciting. There's a lot of stuff just even around that, and then there's the other type of content, so the other restaurant lines, and yeah. So there's going to be other sushi, yeah, just not the salmon one that you're doing this week, next week. Sorry.
Cool. Other questions for Mal, folks? Pop them up. Other questions in general. So we're about getting ready to wrap. While we're waiting for questions to pop there, we'll do the PSA for town to Gala swaps. If you guys are holding town, we set up the town to Gala swap. It's about, I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks ago now. We're going to keep it running for about 5 more months. And so now's the time to swap it over. The ratio is 1.25 town per Gala. That'll stay that way. It's a ratio between the two coins. So you don't have to worry about, trying to time it. It'll just be that way. So go ahead and get that done if you haven't done it yet. And I just posted how much has been transferred already. So 219 million town has already been transferred over to Gala.
And I forgot to talk about the price. I knew there was something, Sage. There was always something. So I forgot to tell everyone the actual details. So thank you, Top Boy, for posting them in. It's a rare. It's $70. There is 800 supply, and you can pay in Gala, Town, or credit card. It'll be on sale April 3rd, 11 a.m. PT. So sorry about that, everyone. I knew there was something that I'd forgot. I'm too busy waffling and reading at the same time.
Any other questions, folks? Michelle, did we get through everything on our agenda? I think so, right?
Yes, we did.
Right. When Godot, hey, Harsh 2040. So we keep pushing that. Team's working very, very, very hard. So let's see. I'm checking other questions. Are we seeing any other questions? Upgrading for NFTs. Yes, we'll put upgrading in when we're got chain inside of Godot. We'll be looking at every single one. No blanket promises on everything, but we will when you transfer your NFT from ETH into Jiri. Yes, upgrades. Dubstep Rod is correct. And what we'll do is, it's the whole idea is not just to turn on something like, yeah, upgrade the NFTs without thinking, but actually have a plan, make it fun, make it interesting for people, right? Okay. Upgrading wasn't only specific to utility NFTs. Very true, Mal. Very true. If you can hear me get excited about NFTs and upgrading them, because it just opens up so much opportunity, so much design space. Any last questions? Any last comments from folks on the stage? Anything we want to share out before we say goodbye to everybody? Yes, Nacho G, earning NFTs, all NFTs will have that ability on Jerry. The question is, not question. The thing we want to do is make it fun, make it strategic, make it interesting gameplay. There was a note. Will jury be available in OpenSea? I think they're talking about that. I don't have any update on that, KM.
Yeah, I'll just say enjoy the leaderboards this coming competition. Keep the feedbacks coming. And yeah, have fun with the guild rankings as well.
Someone asked about the portal not changing. It's not changing. That'll remain the same. And I also mentioned story time. There will definitely be still more story times to come. But at this moment, we will hold.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up then. Thanks everybody for coming to our May. The May is on my mind. Obviously, March 31st AMA. Really happy to have everybody be part of the community and all the support that you're giving for new people and setting up guilds and all the new thinking that's going on there. It's great. You guys really are important to us as a team member because not only just for ideas and thoughts and feedback, but also energy. I know like late last night I tried to come on, get to see what was going on, and it was great. Got sleepy pretty quick, but it's always fun to see what you guys are sharing and talking about how everything's going there. So thank you for all of that, and thank you to everybody on stage for joining us, sharing all the cool information, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.